The Genesis tractors represent an all-new tractor design, a tractor built for the 90s and beyond. They have new engines, transmissions, rear axles, front axles, hydraulic systems, and cabs. This new design is a result of many hours of customer clinics held by the product team to determine what features were most important to owners of high horsepower tractors of all makes. The Deere 60 Series tractors represent a collection of upgrades to a lineup of tractors introduced in 1972. Deere has been very successful in this market class over the years, but many of the components on the Deere tractors are showing their age, including the transmission that uses mechanical controls, the rear axle that is stretched to the limit of capacity, and the cab which is far behind the industry in visibility and convenience. The Genesis tractors use a new 7.5-liter Constant Power Plus engine. The 8670 and 8770 are turbocharged, while the 8870 and 8970 are turbocharged and air-to-air intercooled. These new engines provide up to 52% torque rise for unbelievable lugging ability in tough conditions. The Genesis engine's Constant Power Plus design actually provides increased horsepower as engine RPM drop below rated speed. Maximum horsepower on the Genesis tractors is obtained at around 1900 engine RPM, which coincides with maximum fuel economy and PTO operating speed. This design provides better PTO performance on less fuel. The Deere 60 Series tractors use a 7.6-liter engine that was introduced in 1977 with several improvements since then. The 4560 is turbocharged, while the 4760 and 4960 are turbocharged and air-to-water intercooled. The 4960 has the highest torque rise of the three at 38%, still considerably less than the Genesis tractors. The Deere tractors run at rated engine speed to obtain the correct PTO operating speed, which sacrifices horsepower and fuel economy. The air-to-air intercooling system used on the 8870 and 8970 provides significant advantages over the air-to-water system used on the Deere tractors. The Genesis system uses a heat exchanger in front of the radiator to remove heat from the intake air. On a typical summer day, the system can reduce the intake air temperature to around 155 degrees for more air density and better performance. With the air-to-water system on the Deere tractor, a heat exchanger in the intake manifold removes some of the heat from the turbocharged air and carries it into the engine cooling system. Even if Deere's system could attain 100% heat rejection, intake air temperature cannot be less than coolant temperature, which would be well over 200 degrees. Additionally, the heat that has been absorbed by the coolant must then be removed at the radiator. Genesis tractors are equipped with a new 16x9 PowerShift transmission. This transmission offers all of the shift capabilities of the Ultra Command transmission of the 8030 tractors, plus two new features. By simply pressing an automatic shift button, the tractor will automatically upshift or downshift in roading applications, depending on engine RPMs. Automatic shift operates in gears 10 through 16. A programmable upshift-downshift feature allows the operator to press a switch to upshift or downshift up to 3 gears, to easily change speeds at headlands and then return to the normal field speed by pressing the switch again. Both features make the tractor even easier to operate and improve productivity. The Deere transmission is mechanically controlled by linkage from the transmission to the control lever in the cab. This severely limits shift capabilities. It offers none of the electronic features the Genesis transmission offers, and shift quality, particularly for shuttling, is not nearly as smooth. Shuttling is also made more difficult due to the shift gate design that requires the operator to move the lever in a U pattern to make forward-reverse shifts. As more and more farmers adapt minimum or no-till farming practices, toolbar-mounted equipment continues to get heavier and heavier. 3-point lift capacity on the Genesis tractors has been increased to meet this demand. Heavy 3-point linkage and large cylinders provide lift capacities of 10,000 pounds on the 8670, 12,500 pounds on the 8770 and 8870, and 15,000 pounds on the 8970. These capacities exceed the standard capacity ratings of the Deere 60 series models by over 2 tons, and their optional capacities by over 1 ton. Note the comparative size of the linkages, and it's not hard to see why the Genesis tractors can offer greater lift capacity. Lift link adjustment on the Genesis tractors is made easy because of cast iron collars with grab handles for good leverage. Both lift links are adjustable to provide plenty of adjustment. A vertical float feature is also provided on the lift links. To provide float for wide toolbar equipment or any implement with gauge wheels, the operator simply removes the limiting pin in the top yoke. The pin is retained by a linch pin for easy removal. Deere tractors require removing a strap from the lift link that serves as both a locking device and a wrench. The wrench can be used to turn the turnbuckle arrangement on the lift link. Deere provides a vertical float feature at the lower end of the lift links, but the pin is held in by cotter pins. Because it is not as easy to work with, the operator is less likely to use the feature. Both the Genesis tractors and the Deere tractors use electronic control of the 3-point hitch. Ford provides an external raise lower switch on each fender for easy access from either side of the tractor, making implement attachment easier. Deere only provides one raise lower switch on the back of the tractor that will be very difficult to operate safely from the right side of the tractor. Both the Ford and Deere tractors use electronic draft control as standard equipment on the 3-point hitch. The Genesis tractor has available as a dealer-installed accessory a slip control override feature that is an industry exclusive. The slip control system overrides the normal draft control setting if the tractor loses traction to avoid excessive slippage. If the operator drives through a wet spot, for instance, the slip control override raises the 3-point to reduce slippage. When traction improves, the override control returns the implement to its normal working depth. For those customers who rarely use the 3-point hitch or don't use draft control, Genesis tractors can be ordered less electronic draft control to lower the cost of the tractor. If a customer later decides that he wants electronic draft control, it's a simple matter to add a kit in the field. Deere tractors are not available less electronic draft control. Another big advantage of the Genesis 3-point hitch is that the control valve and the lift cylinders are externally mounted. There is no need to remove the top cover to service internal parts of the 3-point hitch, as may be required on Deere models. SAE provides guidelines to tractor and implement manufacturers for the relationship of drawbar height to PTO output shaft height. The guidelines ensure adequate clearance between the tractor implement hitch and the PTO shaft. The distance between the drawbar and the PTO shaft on the Deere 60 series tractors is at the minimum end of the guideline range. The result is minimum clearance between the clevis hitch pin retainer and the PTO output shaft. There could be interference with an implement PTO shaft, particularly in hilly applications. The Genesis tractors are near the top of the range established by SAE to prevent any possibility of interference. Genesis tractors are equipped with a closed-center load-sensing hydraulic system that offers several benefits over the Deere 60 series system. Flow on the standard systems are comparable, but the Genesis tractor offers the MegaFlow hydraulic system that provides an additional 24 GPM flow for high-volume requirements on various implements, including air seeders, potato and sugar beet harvesters, and other hydraulic motor-driven implements. The Genesis tractors provide up to 4 sets of remotes in a stack arrangement on the back of the tractor. Console-mounted controls make operation easy. Flow control adjustment is provided for each valve by a bank of knobs just outside the rear cab window. This location makes it easy for the operator to adjust the flow either from the seat or while standing at the back of the tractor. The Deere tractors also provide up to 4 remotes. Rather than use a stack arrangement as the Genesis tractors do, Deere uses a separate monoblock valve for each set of couplers. If the customer wants a 4th remote, the dealer will have to install a 4th lever in the cab console, as it is only intended to accept 3 remote control levers. The flow controls on the Deere are at each of the remote valves and are impossible to reach from the seat. All of the Genesis models are available in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and super steer front-wheel drive versions. A super steer type axle is not available on Deere tractors. Depending on tire size and tread setting, the turning performance of the two-wheel drive and front-wheel drive Genesis tractors and the Deere 60 series is comparable. However, the super steer front-wheel drive axle provides a substantial advantage over Deere's caster action front-wheel drive in all tread settings and tire sizes. The Genesis tractors can make a simple U-turn with 12-row equipment on 30-inch rows, which requires a 30-foot turn circle, while the Deere tractor requires nearly 50 feet to make the same turn. In fact, with optional front-wheel dishes that provide a 62-inch tread setting and 14.9 by 28-inch tires, the Genesis tractor can turn with 8-row 30-inch equipment with light braking. The Deere tractor doesn't come close to this turning performance. This greatly improves productivity, particularly in row crop applications. Entry into the Genesis tractor cab is easy from either side, with 2 doors as standard equipment. 3 steps are evenly spaced to make access comfortable. The door threshold is a full 15 3/4 inches wide to make access easy, even with large work boots. The steering column quickly tilts out of the way to make entrance and exit comfortable. Getting in and out of the Deere tractor is not as simple. The single cab door is on the front of the cab, and getting to the seat requires walking between the front steering console and the fender well. The opening between the door sill and the front console is only 10 inches, far less than the Genesis tractor. Visibility from the Genesis cab is excellent in all directions. The Genesis cab has over 58 square feet of glass area to virtually eliminate blind spots. Additionally, the front console on Genesis tractors is significantly narrower to improve visibility to the inside of the front tires for row crop applications. The older Deere cab has only 42 square feet of glass area, which inhibits visibility. Particularly annoying is the cab door frame obstruction just left of center of the front window. Not only is the Genesis cab easier to see out of, it's also easier to spend long days in. Sound levels at a low 72.6 decibels keep the operator fresh and more attentive. Noise levels on the Deere 4960 are at 79 decibels, which makes the Deere more than twice as loud. Console layout in the Genesis cab is the result of many hours of customer clinics to ensure that controls are logically arranged and comfortable for all sizes of operators. Additionally, the Sidewinder console can be moved fore and aft to position the console comfortably for different sizes of operators, or to suit various applications, the console may be repositioned to locate a particular control close at hand. When moved fully rearward, the front of the console moves away from the operator for more comfort when the seat is swiveled to the right. This exclusive feature helped make the Genesis control layout the top choice in clinic after clinic. Right-hand console layout on the Deere is good as well. The primary drawback of the Deere console is the transmission control. As mentioned earlier, it is a mechanical control that doesn't have the features offered by the shifter on the Genesis tractors. Because it uses a straight-line shift, the control moves rather far away from the operator in the higher gears. Regular servicing of the cab air filter ensures clean air in the cab and maximum efficiency of the heating and air conditioning systems. Accessing the filter on the Genesis tractor is simply a matter of turning a thumb screw a quarter of a turn and dropping the filter door. Any dust knocked out of the filter at this point falls to the ground outside the tractor. Further, each time a cab door is closed, air pressure inside the cab helps backflush the filter. Filter access on the Deere tractor requires removing a trap door in the ceiling of the cab. A thumb screw on each end of the door must be unscrewed, and then the door and filter assembly can be removed from the cab for cleaning. If the assembly gets tilted the wrong way, or worse yet, dropped, dirt that has collected below the filter may be spilled in the cab. This system isn't nearly as convenient as the Genesis tractor. Standard lighting on the Genesis tractors includes a 6-light light bar in the front of the hood, 2 low-mount adjustable work lights at the middle of the tractor, 2 fender-mounted adjustable rear work lights, 2 roof-mounted adjustable rear work lights, and 1 center-mounted adjustable rear work light. All of the adjustable work lights are easily adjusted without tools. These lights provide a panoramic view around the tractor for safe nighttime operation. The lights have individual dash-mounted controls, so the operator can choose the combination of lights that best suits a given operation. Optional dealer-installed roof-mounted front work lights may be useful for loader work. The standard lighting package on the Deere includes 4 fixed hood-mounted work lights, 2 fender-mounted work lights, and 2 fender-mounted headlights. The 2 low-mounted adjustable lights at the middle of the tractor must be ordered as optional equipment. Additionally, Deere does not offer roof-mounted front work lights as either standard or optional equipment. Standard rear lighting on the Deere includes 2 fender-mounted work lights and 2 roof-mounted work lights. None of the Deere work lights can be adjusted without tools. Genesis tractors also include rear flasher turn signal lights at both fender and roof level for an extra measure of safety. Deere tractors have flasher turn signal lights at the top of the roof only. Daily engine maintenance is relatively easy on both models. Servicing the Genesis engine requires opening the left-hand engine door to access the engine oil dipstick and for visual inspection of the coolant level in the overflow tank. The Deere 60 series requires the same engine checks to be performed on the right-hand side of the engine, and both are easy to do. However, since the Deere tractors do not have a right-hand cab door, the operator must walk back around the unit to enter the cab. Fueling the Genesis tractor is easily accomplished either from ground level or from the lower left-hand cab step. Fueling the Deere tractor requires the operator to climb up on the front axle to reach the fuel cap. At narrower tread settings, access between the tractor and the tire is very limited. For normal preventive maintenance, the Genesis hood can easily be raised to either of 2 positions to provide access to the engine and accessories, using a release handle inside the left-hand engine compartment door. At the first hood stop, all normal servicing, except air cleaner service, can be completed. If air cleaner service is required, the operator simply opens the hood to the second stop for easy filter servicing from the right side of the tractor. Once the hood is open, it's a simple matter to swing the air conditioning condenser out for excellent access to clean it, as well as the hydraulic oil cooler, air-to-air intercooler, and the front of the radiator. Servicing the air cleaner isn't bad on the Deere, although the clearance between the filter and the hood is limited. Servicing the air conditioning condenser and the hydraulic oil cooler is another story. Side panels on each side of the nose of the tractor are removable, but you cannot separate the coolers for access to the front of the radiator without removing the hood. Removing the hood proves to be a very difficult task. It is held down by quick release handles at the front, but the back of the hood is bolted down. Side panels must be removed to access the bolts. After the hood is unbolted, it is a tough job for 2 people to remove the hood from the tractor. After the hood is removed, the condenser hydraulic oil cooler assembly can be partially slid out either the left or right side, but it cannot be slid fully to either side, so access to the front of the radiator is still poor. Keeping these coolers and the radiator clean allows better heat transfer and better operating efficiency. Making them easy to clean means the customer is far more likely to do so. Genesis tractors offer customers many features that meet today's demands and are ready to accept tomorrow's challenges, with low-emission engines, advanced transmission controls, innovative hydraulics, electronics, and cab designs, plus serviceability and accessibility that is clearly best in class. Demonstrate these tractors to your customers, and they will quickly see the difference. Gotta drive it.